Picture a butterfly, trapped inside its cocoon, struggling with all its might to break free. Its wings flapping frantically, its body twisting and turning, but nothing happens. Frustration takes over. Now, what if I told you this butterfly isn't alone in its battle? We, as humans, face this too. We're ready to change, to grow, yet somehow, we feel stuck, like we can't break free from what's holding us back. Stop and think for a moment, have you ever felt this way? Like you're trapped in your own cocoon, eager to take the next step but unsure how. Now imagine the scene, the butterfly is inside its cocoon, and its struggle is real. It feels ready, its wings are strong enough to fly, but the cocoon, this seemingly safe prison, won't let it move forward. And who hasn't felt like that? How often do we find ourselves in situations where we know we need to change, but something keeps holding us back? Sometimes, it's the fear of the unknown. Other times, it's doubt or a lack of confidence. And here's the hardest part, realizing that it's not just a physical barrier, it's an emotional one, too. It's like trying to escape an invisible cocoon, but something keeps pulling us back. That feeling of being stuck, unable to move forward, is an existential struggle many of us face at some point in life. So, why is it so hard to break free? What's stopping us from moving on? In today's video, we're going to explore exactly what keeps us trapped in this emotional cocoon and how we can break free from this stagnation. We'll dive into the internal obstacles we face when trying to change, how the comfort zone can be an invisible trap, and what we can learn from the butterfly's journey to finally achieve our own transformation. I'll share with you 5 key points to help you understand this struggle and how you can overcome fear and uncertainty to finally break free and fly. The butterfly's journey isn't just a cute nature story, it holds deep symbolism that directly applies to our lives. The metamorphosis of the butterfly is, in fact, a metaphor for our own internal transformation. When the caterpillar enters its cocoon, it completely dissolves before rebuilding itself into a new creature. During this process, it has no idea what its final form will be or how the world will perceive it. It simply surrenders to the process. Now consider this, we often find ourselves in the same position. We reach a point in our lives where we don't know what our transformation will look like, or even how others will see us after it happens. The pain and discomfort of change are inevitable. The butterfly, just like us, goes through a phase of confusion and even a loss of identity. But what it doesn't know, and what we, as humans, need to understand, is that this is a necessary part of evolution. The pain of being stuck in the cocoon. It's hard to picture the butterfly's struggle inside the cocoon without feeling some level of empathy. It knows it's ready, it feels the potential to fly, but it's trapped. And what hurts the most in this process? The pain of inaction. That's a feeling we all know in some way. How many times have we felt something inside us begging for change, for growth, yet we couldn't take the next step? That feeling of being stuck, caught in a cycle that leads nowhere, is unsettling. For us humans, the pain of the cocoon can take many forms. It might be the fear of failure, self-doubt, or even procrastination that keeps us stagnant. Sometimes, we already have the inner resources we need, but we lack one thing, the courage to break free from what holds us back. And the hardest part? Like the butterfly, we often don't realize that this pain serves a purpose. What the butterfly doesn't know, and what we also need to understand, is that this struggle is an essential part of the transformation process. Without it, there's no evolution. The cocoon as a comfort zone. The butterfly's cocoon is both its prison and its protection. It provides safety, a warm shelter, but it also prevents its freedom. Here's where the analogy fits our lives. How often do we cling to something familiar and comfortable, even if it limits us? Our comfort zone may feel cozy, but it's often the very thing that stifles our growth. We're so used to stability that we resist change, even when it's necessary. And here's the paradox, like the butterfly, we fear leaving our comfort zone because it's what we know. Change is intimidating, but the comfort zone can be a disguised trap. We live in a constant internal battle, knowing we need to change, yet being held back by familiarity. In truth, the comfort zone is what keeps us from living to our full potential. The butterfly can only fly once it leaves the cocoon, and we can only truly live when we step out of our safe space. This resistance to change is natural, but as we'll see, it's through the struggle that we discover true freedom. The wings we don't use, what if it's already time to fly? Imagine a fully formed butterfly inside the cocoon. Its wings are ready, vibrant and colorful, but it hesitates. What if I can't fly? What if my wings aren't strong enough? It doesn't realize that its wings were made for one purpose, to fly. Now think about us, as humans. How often do we prepare, study, acquire skills, yet stop short when it's time to take the next step? We get stuck in the safety of not trying. Maybe it's fear of failure, or maybe the unknown feels too daunting. But often, we already have everything we need, we just lack that initial movement. Just as the butterfly doesn't know what lies beyond the cocoon until it leaves, we can't imagine what's waiting for us until we muster the courage to act. It could be a new job, a tough decision, or even the start of a dream project we've been putting off for years. What we need to remember is that no one is born with complete confidence. It grows as we try. And just as wings only strengthen through movement, our abilities also develop when we put them into action. The power of the process. During its metamorphosis, the butterfly undergoes an incredibly difficult and intense process. It doesn't emerge as a butterfly overnight. On the contrary, what we witness is a continuous effort, a constant struggle to overcome the limitations of the cocoon and become something new. This is a lesson we, as humans, need to embrace. The process of transformation isn't easy, but it's through this process that our true strength is forged. Often, we feel disheartened by the challenges that arise when we decide to change. It's tempting to want to skip straight to the end result, to the victory moment, but the truth is that change requires patience. What truly defines our success isn't the perfection of the outcome, but the resilience and perseverance we demonstrate along the way. The butterfly doesn't become what it is without enduring the painful process of reinvention. Similarly, we grow and evolve only when we embrace the difficulties of the process, not by rushing through or avoiding the pain, but by learning from it. The strength of a butterfly comes from its perseverance, and so does ours. Every challenge we face is a step toward our own freedom. The moment of liberation. Finally, after all the struggle, the moment of liberation arrives. The butterfly breaks free from the cocoon and, with its fragile wings, prepares for its first flight. This is the pinnacle of its journey, freedom earned through resistance, discomfort, and resilience. It might falter on that first flight, but now it knows, it is capable of flying. This moment is its reward for all it has endured. In our personal journeys, the butterfly's liberation mirrors our own. The moment of transformation, when we finally break free from our emotional cocoon, is often more challenging than we imagine. But once we reach it, the feeling is indescribable. The freedom to be our true selves, unshackled by fear or doubt, is a gift that can only be earned by enduring the process. It might be daunting to leave the cocoon, but when we do, we see the world from a whole new perspective. Fear fades, and courage takes its place. Like the butterfly, our true freedom begins when we decide to break through the limitations that hold us back. This marks the start of a new chapter in our journey, one where we can soar without constraints. Picture the butterfly now, wings fully open, feeling the gentle caress of the wind on its body. It is free. It is finally flying. This isn't just the act of flapping its wings, it's the culmination of all the effort, struggle, fear, and waiting. Every beat of its wings carries the strength of an arduous journey that has finally granted it freedom. When we think about our own transformation, this moment of flight is just as profound. It might represent a fresh start, an achievement, or the emotional freedom that emerges after a long journey of self-discovery and overcoming. But here's the catch: the true beauty of this moment of liberation isn't in the act of flying itself, but in the journey that led to it. The butterfly doesn't think, now that I've flown, I'm done. It knows the process continues. There's a new horizon ahead. For us, this is like reaching a new stage in life, a fresh start, but one that comes with continued growth. This liberation is more than a metaphor. It's an invitation to see your life differently. Like the butterfly, you too are destined to fly. But before you take that leap, it's important to celebrate the courage that has brought you this far. Every small step is a victory worth honoring. The fear of the unknown. When the butterfly finally breaks free from its cocoon, it's faced with something it has never experienced before, the vast open sky, the freedom of flight. But imagine the fear it feels in that moment. It has never flown before and doesn't know if it will be able to control its wings. The unknown is undeniably terrifying, a fear we all know too well. The fear of taking the first step towards something new, the fear of failing in the process of transformation. This fear often paralyzes us, as if we're trapped by the idea that trying something new might hurt us or lead to failure. In a way, this fear is a natural defense mechanism from our brain, trying to protect us. But what the butterfly teaches us is that, even in the face of the unknown, the leap must be taken. Transformation requires courage. The butterfly doesn't know if it can fly, but by trying, it learns how to. Similarly, we can only grow when we dare to leap into the unknown. Change is always challenging, but, like the butterfly, it is in that leap into the unknown that we discover our true strength. The imperfect flight, why you don't have to be perfect to begin. Butterflies aren't perfect. Some emerge from their cocoons with crooked wings, others with slightly uneven colors. And what do? They fly anyway. Because the goal was never to be perfect, the goal was always to fly. And what about us? Why are we so obsessed with the idea of perfection before starting something? We wait for the perfect moment, the ideal conditions, unshakable confidence. But while we wait, time slips away. We remain in our cocoons, postponing our dreams because we believe we're not ready yet. Here's a truth few people talk about: no one is ever 100% ready for anything. Those who take on new challenges rarely have all the answers. And that's okay. Growth is a process, not a fixed destination. When you see a butterfly in flight, you don't think, I wonder if its flight is perfectly symmetrical. No. You admire the beauty of its movement, the grace of its flight. So why do you believe you need to be perfect to be admired? To be happy? To begin? The imperfect flight is what takes us to incredible places. It gives us stories to tell, lessons to learn, and a more authentic life. So, the question isn't, what if I fail? The real question is, what if I never try? Now, imagine if you were the butterfly. What would be stopping you from breaking free from the cocoon and flying? Sometimes, it's the fear of the unknown, other times, it's doubt about your own strength. And perhaps you've spent so much time waiting for something to happen before the transformation could take place, that you've forgotten that the true power is already inside you, waiting to be set free. Each of us has gone through or will go through a moment when our comfort zone becomes a prison. We might even think it's safe in there, but the truth is that the cocoon is just a transitional phase. The fear of what comes next, the fear of not being able to handle it or of failing, keeps us stuck in a place that no longer serves us. The flight is scary, but it's also the only thing that guarantees us a new perspective, new possibilities, and a future that will only be ours if we have the courage to reach for it. What if you stopped waiting and started taking action? What if you began looking at your life with the mindset of a butterfly, understanding that metamorphosis is not a momentary decision but an ongoing process? With each step, the cocoon becomes more fragile, and you become stronger. The fear of flying? It will exist, but it doesn't need to be stronger than your desire to grow. Remember, the moment of transformation is not an isolated event. It's the result of the small actions we take every day, breaking free from our fears, stepping out of our comfort zone, and allowing ourselves to experience new things. So, instead of waiting for life to happen, create your own moments of liberation. Take the first step. Then the second. And before you know it, you'll be flying higher than you ever imagined. If this video resonated with you, like, share it with someone who needs a little push to break free from their cocoon, and subscribe for more reflections like this. In the comments, share, what's your cocoon? What are you going to do today to start breaking those barriers? Remember, the world doesn't need a smaller version of you. The world needs all the colors you have to offer, all the potential you carry. The flight begins with a small act of courage, and that first step can be now. The future is waiting to see the beauty of your wings. If you fall, get up. If your wings tremble, keep going. But never, never, refuse to fly. Until the next video.